Can everybody hear me now? Good, good. Thank you all. Thanks, Monica, for your very kind words. And I'm just saying I'm very excited to share this very powerful but simple tool of numerology, which I've used in the last 10 years, helped a lot of my life, and also helped a lot of many people's life. For today, let me just share the slides here. We will do basically three things. First is that we will share with you the structure of this numerology. Yeah, so I will share with you how to put up a chart so that you can chart your own birthday number into this numerology sheet. And then that we will look at all the numbers. So in this numerology system, we have number 1 to 11, and we look at the meanings of each number. And then in the third part that we're going to look at some examples. Yeah. So to begin with, I probably would like to say a little bit of this numerology system. There's a different type of numerology system, and there's a lot of similarities. And the one I practice is created by a yogi whose name is Yoga Bhajan. He is the one who brings Kundalini Yoga from India to the US. So we can see that this numerology is very in its root. It's based on the Kundalini Yoga energy system. So it goes very deep into your psyche and into your energy system. So it answers questions like, who am I? What is it for me to come to this life to learn? What's my key lessons and challenges? And what's the life purpose? So it's a bit different from fortune teller type. It actually goes really deep. And then my teacher, Tyler Morgan, he took this system and then make it very practical. So that's why we call it practical numerology. And now I'm going to show you this structure, how you can make your chart. I'm going to use the whiteboard to do that. Just give me a moment. Shift into the whiteboard. So again, you will see the structure in the left side, and we're going to use the right side to put our numbers. I hope everybody, you have your own pen and paper so that you can put these charts to line, to vertical, and get yourself ready. So we begin with this middle column. So on the first here, this is our soul number. What soul number is that the natural state we will be. So it's the happiest place that the soul would like to go. And to calculate your soul number, what you do is basically to add your birth date. Let me put my birth date here so we can do this together. So my birthday is 23rd October and 1976. So for me, my soul number is to add the dates, which is 23. That in this system, the number is between 1 to 11. If it's more than 11, then we add the number, which is bigger than 11, take the 2 digits and then add it together. So for me, 23 is more than 11. So I add the 2 digits, which is 2 and 3. So 2 plus 3 equals to 5. So that my soul number will be here 5. Probably not the best, Joy. Does anybody get your number? If you have any questions, you can just ask. I leave the chat open here. And then that after the soul number, we can go to look at the lesson number here. The lesson is in the middle. So lesson is like, we come to this life to learn. And if we can learn the lesson early on, which will be good, then we can move on. If not, then we will come back to learn this lesson. And the lesson also has its positive sides. So how you can see the meaning in the lessons and use it to fuel for your soul and to use it to fuel for your purpose. And the way to calculate the lesson number is that it's your months. So for me, October is 10. So this is quite easy. January is 1, February is 2, March is 3, and the only one you need to calculate is 12. 12 is bigger than 11, then we add the 2 digits. 1 plus 2 is 3. Yeah. So you get your lesson number. And once you have both the soul and lesson, then you can calculate the foundation. So what foundation is that when life gets challenged, so you have something to support you. It's almost like the cornerstone of your life, right? So that the stronger your foundation is, the better your life will be. So you will not, especially when you are in the time that you are working through your lessons, you really need to look at your foundation to get the source of power and support from your foundation. And the way to calculate your foundation is that you just add your soul number and lesson number together. So if I add 5 plus 10 is 16. 16 is bigger than 11, so we reduce it. We add 1 plus 6. Oh, sorry, it's 15. So I add 1 plus 5, that will make it 6. So my foundation number is 6. And these 3 numbers, soul, lesson, and foundation, they show up, these energy shows up first in our life. So between the age, especially in early lives, yeah, these 3 numbers, these 3 energies is strongest at our age between 0 to 18. And then we can move to the right side, where you will see is the gift. There's the right column. On top of the right column, the first one is the gift. Gift is the gifts you have and that you carry into this life. The talent, the skills. So the way to calculate gift is you add last 2 digits of your year number. So my year is 76. So I add 76. 7 plus 6 is 13, still bigger than 11. So I add it again. 1 plus 3, that make it 4. So my gift number is 4. And then we move to the past. The past means the gift coming from past life. Different people might have different belief system. Some of you might believe in past life. Some of you might not. If you don't believe past life, you can think it is something like in your DNA, something that you have. But which probably it's a bit deeper. You need to dig a bit deeper to get access to it. So for me, I do believe in past life, and it's not a belief. It's almost like an experience in a way, because I do a lot of other alternative work like Akasha record, hypnotherapy, shamanism. So in my work, that especially in hypno, we do regression, and quite often we go back to past lives, and my clients can really see very vividly and experience vividly of the life, which is obviously not this one. And we also have a lot of skills and gifts coming from past life. And if we can connect deeper with ourselves, then we can connect with that side of the gifts. So the way to calculate the past life gifts is that you add the whole 4 number of your year together. So for my year, it's 1976. So I need to add 1 + 9 + 7 + 6. So 7 + 6 is 4, I already know, which means I just need to add 1 + 9 onto it. 1 + 9 is 10. 10 + 4 is 14. 14 is bigger than 11. I reduce it down to 1 + 4, which will make it 5. And to give you a shortcut, because most people are born in the 20th century, the past, you just need to add 1. Because 19, right? 19 together is 10. It's basically add 1 from your gift number. Yeah, so the past life, so that's question about past gifts. So you can add the 4 digits of your year number together. So for me, it's 1 + 9 + 7 + 6. And then if it's bigger than 11, you reduce it down, you add the 2 digits. Right? And if it's still bigger than 11, you add 1 more time, then you will reach to that number. And as a shortcut, you basically just add 1. And if for people who are born in 21st century, then you add 2. And once we have the gifts and we have the past life gifts, then we can come to the asset. The asset is that once you can activate your gifts, once you can fully use your gifts, and once you can activate your past life gifts and fully use that, and all those things become your whole assets. So that's your assets number. And assets will also include your ancestors' gifts, things that you inherited, right? So here, to calculate the asset, you basically, to add the gift and past, if you add these 2 together, then you get the number of asset. So here I add 4 + 5, which will equal to 9. Is everybody good at this? The year number, all good? If anybody have a questions or don't know, can just ask and I can do the calculation for you. So now, okay, Angela.
So thanks, Judy. I just wanted to double check. I'll take the gift number because it was more than 11, and I will then add it to the first 2, which of course, which you said is just make that a 1. So it's 1 plus my gift number.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so what is your gift number?
4.
4. Yeah. So 4 at 1 is 5. So you have the same as me in the right.
Oh, I have a great number.
We have very similar talent and gifts.
Yeah. I love you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So now we can move on to the left column. So the left column, the top one, is presentation or projection. What it means is that how other people see you, how you are being perceived by other people. And the way to calculate it is you add your gift and soul. You add the gift and your soul number. So for me, my gift is 4, my soul number is 5. I add 4 plus 5, so it's 9 again. So other people see me as 9. 9 is a master number, a person who has big heart, like to think, very academic and intuitive at the same time. That's how other people sees me. And that's whatever the number you have, it's how other people sees you. It's your projection, the energy you project out. And under here is the core. What core is that who you really are and what you will spend most of time to do in your life. So that for core, you do similar, you add the past life gift and lesson together. So for me, my past life gift is 5 and my lesson is 10. So I add 5 plus 10 is 15. So 15 is more than 11. Then I add 1 plus 5, which makes it 6 again. So that is my core. The place I will spend most time, that's who I am, what I do. So 6 is actually quite often is a healer. And I do that a lot. I'm a healer and coach. So, and time-wise, usually the first column is the first 18 years. And then slowly after 18 years, these numbers also open up to us until 36 years old. And then we will begin to move to this gifts and gifts column. And eventually that we will get to our purpose number. So now we can calculate our purpose number. So the purpose number is you add your soul number and your core number together, then it gets to your purpose. So my soul number is 5, my core number is 6, and then my purpose number is 5 plus 6 is 11. So 11 is the number of spirituality, spiritual teacher, spiritual creator. And very interesting, at Balance House, many of our practitioners, we have 11 as our purpose number. And there's another way to double check whether you did your calculation right, which is if you add all your birthday number together, 23 plus 10 plus 1976, and it should add up in the end, give you number 11. And you can use your own number to double check and to make sure that your number is right. Oh, we have another 11. 11 friends. And a workshop like this also tend to attract people with 11 or 6 enjoying. So you're on your path to become a spiritual teacher. Okay. Do we have any questions? If no more questions, then everybody have your chart, and then we can move on to look at what these numbers actually mean. Yeah, good. Let's go back to our slide.
Judy, I have a question.
Okay, yes, please.
Did you say that the purpose, that final number is going to be the same as the birth date?
Another way to calculate is you add all the digits of your birth date and then reduce it down to 11 or less. Then you will get the same number. It's a way to double check whether your calculation is right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So okay, so that all reduces the same to my purpose number. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So now let's begin to look at the numbers. So first, let's look at number 1. And number 1, because this is created based on Kundalini Yoga, so I will also talk a bit about the energetic side. So energetic side, number 1 is also the seed. It's the seed in your mind, energetically. So if you think about the seed, right, it's very small, and it has a little bit, has great potential, right? The seed has great potential to grow to something big and meaningful and beautiful. But at the same time, there's also huge risk. If the seed sprouts at the wrong time, at the wrong place, it might die. Right? So that what the seed is, and that what 1 is. I want you to think about that. So giving that, so people have 1 tend to be quite independent, right? That's 1, just 1 person. And because they are just a seed, so sometimes there's a sense of being small, right? Although they have great potential, but there's a sense of being a bit small. And very interesting, you see a lot of 1 being entrepreneur. You actually go through that process, right? At the beginning, you're a startup, you're quite small, and slowly you grow, you make it big. And because of that, 1 has a little bit, maybe you are on a positive, is quite strong opinionated, also have a bit, a lot of opinion. Sometimes you might feel people with 1 is a little bit stubborn, or you feel they have a bit ego. So that's the 1 can present, if it's not skillfully, might make people feel. But at the same time that they are also resilient, right? They're stubborn, but they're also resilient. And they quite often ask themselves the question of, who am I? And because they are small, so if they would like to become a leader, they kind of need to learn self-leadership first before they lead others. And the lesson, if 1 is in the lesson number, they probably need to look at self-centered and sometimes ego, and sometimes a bit of confidence challenges. And 1 also have that, they feel lonely. They are not that confident on the relationship side. And at the same time, if you do not let them to be alone, they will feel very uncomfortable. They need me time. For 1, me time is very important. Yeah. And then we can move on to, oh, sorry. Move on to 2. So now 2, right? You have 2 sides, 2 things, 2 people. So when you have 2, you have relationship. So for 2, relationship is very important. They are not to focus on the self, they focus on the relationship. And they're always in search of the other half. It doesn't always mean loving relationship. It also means that they're looking for a teacher. They're in search of the teacher to teach them. And they're in search of an interest, a hobby, right? These can all be the type of relationship which is important for 2 as well. And energetically, 2 is still in the mind, on the mind side, and 2 is on the negative side of the mind. So the good part of it is that 2 is able to see the risk side, the negative side of the things, and might be challenged to see the positive side. And the lesson, if you have 2 in your lesson number, what you need to pay attention to is that in your journey, in your search of the other half, don't lose yourself. And also that don't forget about self-love. Because for 2, essentially, 2 need to have a journey to become 11, which is to really feel whole in their own hearts. So I put here like the 2 together. If you can find oneness, if you can find whole within yourself, and then you will be in a neutral space, and that will position you best to find the other second half. And the third thing about 2, if it's in the lesson place, tend to be either overly negative or overly positive. Doesn't always mean that's overly negative. I have seen leaders who have 2 and they tend to be overly positive, and they take risk. And when we do leadership profile, and their stress profile is that when under stress, then they take more risk. And then I look at their numerology, and there are 2. Then okay, now I understand. So I use numerology a lot in my recruiting, in my coaching, in some leadership work, and it's a very practical tool. Angela, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to check. When you look at these numbers, is that for just the lesson, or is it anywhere that you see a 2 in your profile?
I'm now talking about the meaning of the number in general, and it has the positive side and negative side. So that some positions are more positive, some positions are more negative. So like if the number is in the lesson part, then the negative one tend to be more, and you need to be aware of that lesson. And the lesson, there might be a few people have 2, but maybe for one, it's really about self-love. And for another person, it's probably about overly positive or overly negative. So, but it's okay, around that topic.
So, so this would be relevant if it was like talking about maybe the soul or the purpose. You'd also look, you look and see how this is relevant to where it shows up in the chart.
Yes, yes. And then if 2 is in the soul, and then that's your natural state. So that I will say soul number is 50 positive and 50 negative, meaning that if it's at 2, the person naturally, relationship is important for that person, right? So that's the position of the number, and combine the meaning of the number will give you how to look at the chart.
Thank you.
Welcome. And looking at 3. So now we have three things, right? So three people all together, you can have friends, you have team. So people with three, friends and community is very important. They are team players. And you also see the team is very bouncy, curving, right? So they are very creative, and they are also very flowy, go with the flow. And three is also the number symbolized child. So they are the happy-go-lucky child. And three, energetically, it's also is on the mind, and it's on the positive mind. And the lesson for three is that sometimes that for three, because they care a lot about the team, about the community, so that when they're inside the team, their attention tend to be outward. They tend to be the pleaser. They tend to be the one who makes sure the team stays together, everything works, but they don't pay too much attention of their own needs. And if you do that for long, then you will have resentments, then you will be not aligned with who you really are. And I've seen people have many threes in their chart that if they don't learn the lessons, don't pay attention to it, it might develop depression because you're too away from who you really are. And three, another thing about three on the lesson side is that because it's like a child, it's very flowy. So they tend to lack a little bit discipline, not very organized. And they tend to need eight. Eight is the manager to manage the three. And for people who has both 3 and 8 very close in their chart, and they tend to sometimes have that conflict within themselves. Like a part of them would like to play and have the freedom, and a part of them would like to manage and take in control, make everything is in control. And they sometimes might find it difficult to manage that inner conflict. And now we look at 4. So 4 is a neutral mind, not negative, not positive, very neutral. And 4, if you think about 4, right? If you think about dots, before it's like you have 3 dots. The moment you have 4 dots, and if you connect them together, you begin to have 3 dimensions. So you get a lot more sophisticated. You can see different facets of things. So you're very analytical. And you can also be very logic, organized, and good at planning. 4 is also a good thinker, right? Because you can see the complexity of things. 4 can be good consultant, a mentor, because they can see strategically what's the big picture. They're very good at analytical. They probably can run pivot table, do data analysis very well. And at the same time, as a mind, what creates neutral mind is actually meditation, mindfulness, right? So 4 tend to be naturally good at mindfulness, meditation. So I have 4 in my gifts. So I always feel meditation comes very natural to me. And so when I coach people, quite often people told me that's so difficult, I cannot meditate. Initially, I don't understand until I know that it's just my natural gift, but might not be others. And the lesson for 4 is that 4 sometimes can be judgmental, and they judge themselves a lot. Maybe the presentation is that they judge others a lot, but that actually is a projection of the judgment they hold to themselves. And 4 is very good at thinking, but sometimes they might overthink. And 4, you see, structurally, it's like a box, right? So it's also important for 4 to think outside of the box. So if 3 is very flowy, very creative, and 4 is very structured, inside the box type, you can see the difference between these 2 numbers. And now we go to 5. 5 is the balance between the body and mind. So 5 is the first number. We move away from the mind and go into the body. And it's also the balance between the body and the mind and emotion and all that. So 5 is the number of balance. And 5, you can also see it's like a star, have 5 dots. So it's a connector. So they're very good at networking and they connect with people. So career-wise, if you have 5, sales, relationship, business development using network is very good for 5. And 5 is also movement. So movement can be like you move your body, that you do fitness. So my teacher used to say that if you have 1 5 in your chart, you need to do 1 exercise in a day. If you have 2, you need to do 2 times of exercise. So really to activate the 5 energy in you. And when 5 also like to travel around, that's also another type of movement. So during COVID, I have 2 5. When I cannot travel, I feel not so good. So I, in the end, stay Hong Kong for a few months and stay in Switzerland for a while. I find a different way to travel. And 5 is also the 5 senses of our body. It's a very bodily number. And people have 5 can also be like a very good cook. And because they very good at all the 5 senses. And if they like, they can also be an actor. So the lessons for 5 is that they might overly indulge into the 5 senses, that to addicted to certain things related with 5 senses, like to eat good food, delicious food too much, maybe. And if in the lesson number, sometimes that's my lack of the balance, how to really balance things, right? Balance your mind and body, balance your work and life. And my also lack of discipline or overly discipline, have certain dilemma on that. Either really do a lot of things or just like a potato bag. So that's another balance, 5. And in the lesson number, need to watch. Now we're moving to 6. So we're moving into our heart, energetically 6 in our heart. So it's about our heart, it's about our emotions, or heart emotion, very related about our home, and it's a prayer. 6 is somebody who prays a lot, and prayers works wonderful for them. And 6 is also beauty, nature. So that if 6 in your foundation, like my number, so I go to nature a lot. Home is important. Love, compassion is important. And people have 6. Quite often their career can be something that help others, and like doctors, healers, therapists. And that type of doctor, if at 6, they will be the type of doctor who open people's hearts. That's you. If you have 6 in your projection number, and then you probably find yourself, people will just come to you and share with you their heartfelt secrets. So that's just how you project that. And the lesson for 6 is that because 6 tend to have that healing capability, and they might be quite attracted to do some healing work. But what's important is that really need to heal the self first, and then heal others. And also 6, when it's not strong in the lesson, that they might easily to feel hurt. Their heart is being hurt. And quite often there's a sense of rejection and abandonment. And often it's related with that their understanding of commitment is different than others. because for 6, commitment is very important. But for other people, maybe not. So they need to understand, different people understand commitment different. And if they can truly understand that, they can prevent themselves from being hurt. And also for 6, it's also important to understand that rejection is redirection. If you truly have that self-love, there's nothing which is an abandonment. So that's 6. Now we go into 7. So 7, you can see energetically is this aura that around us. So it's a lot about our expression. If you have a few 7s in your chart, so your expression becomes very, very important. And you need to find your way to express yourself. You can write, you can sing, you can dance, you can act. Just need to find a way to really express. But at the same time, 7 is also a hermit. That meaning that 7 also needs time alone, so that they can find time to really connect with themselves and find a message, and they can come out to express. And 7, often they need time to process things. So it will be good for 7 to avoid to rush. And what's important for 7 to learn, even in the lesson part, is really to clear the closet. Because 7 is the aura, right? So that's people have 7 is also very sensitive to other people's energy. They're very empathic. And so that's, if things go inside their aura, they're also very sensitive. So they need to clear all the things out. Things which is not aligned with their energy, they need to clear things out. So physically, you need to clear your closet. You also need to look at your friends, relationship, to clear out those whose energy is no longer serving you or not aligned with you, or clear out of thoughts and beliefs that is no longer serving you. And then forgiveness is important, because forgiveness is the highest level of clear things out. And forgiveness is not logical. I often think that if you think logic, it will be very difficult to forgive. And forgiveness is really go beyond. It's a mystical experience. And if you can really do that, you do such a good service to yourself and to others. And that will be specifically important for 7. If you can really learn forgive for 7, then your life will be good. And now we come to 8. Energetically, so you see 8 in this chart here, is the prana. Prana is not like 7, aura is quite outside. Prana is just maybe a few centimeters above our skin, around us. So in Chinese medicine, we call it Wei Qi, meaning preventive qi, or immunity. So when your prana is strong, your immunity is strong, your Wei Qi is strong. And 8 tend to have quite good energy. And they are the manager. They're the general manager. They manage all the things. They're full of energy, and they would like to control things, make everything under control. And they can leverage resources to create abundance. And at the same time, they're also quite competitive. So if you run a business, you need somebody who has 8 to manage things, to create. And the downside of the lessons of 8 is that it's about emotion management, because 8 like to control, but when things doesn't happen in the way they like, and when things are not controllable, then there will be anger and frustration. And when 8 taking to too extreme, there might be some control freak. And 8, they have a lot of energy, but if they don't pay attention, they might overuse. If they lose the balance, then they might burn out. So I often give an analogy that if you are automobile, so 8 is like the oil, that the energy, and the 5 is the gear, that the balance. Sometimes you need to understand to change gear so that you don't overuse your energy to burn out. And now we come to 9. So now you can see, right? It's like a very big head. So 9 is the type of people who has a big head, meaning they're very intellectual, academic. They like to learn things and they like to think deep. And they also have very high intuition. And they are here to master certain things. So energetically, the 9 is between 5, like the line of the body, and the aura. So everything in between. So if 9 can pay so much subtle details, so you can understand everything around, right? So that's the 9 energy. And when the 9 energy is in the lesson part or is weak, then what happens to 9 is that 9 will become, we say that jack of all trades and master of none. So if you have 9s in your chart, it will be very important for you to master one thing instead of to learn a lot of. If you have 9, especially if you have 2, you tend to like to learn a lot of things and you expand, but you might not stop and to master one thing first. And 9 is also that letting go. It's 1 to 9, almost the end. So that it's important to letting go. And for 9 to understand when is the time to letting go is important. Then we go to 10. So 10 is this big circle. Here you see. So it's the expanded aura. So it's even 7 is here, 10 is even out. So that is the leader, people who has a vision. So it's when 1 grows into 10 is that you have that seed in your heart, you have that vision in your heart, but it does not only stays in your heart, you grow it, you radiate out. Everybody can see it. And that's the 10. And when the leader gets on the stage, people will know, they will feel that. And they tend to have that, like we say, like queen, like royal, noble. They have that radiant out type of energy. And if you think about like big stars, when they get on the stage, they just own the whole audience. And for 10 is also that because they are the king and queen, they like to win, and they have to win. Especially sometimes when people have 2 10s, 3 10s in their chart, winning gets very important. So it's really fuels the 10, makes 10s very driven to win and to put in efforts. And to a point, when you have a few 10s, sometimes can be perfectionist. And that might, when you go into extremes, and that will become the lesson for 10. That for 10, if in the lesson number, they might be too perfection. They tend to feel not good enough. And as a result, they want to put in more efforts, and which will lead to a lot of stress. They care a lot about how other people perceive them, judge them. So that's when 10 in the lesson number. There's a sense always feel not good enough yet. I need to put in more effort. And a lot of leaders might have imposter syndrome when they have that 10 in their chart. And now we have the last number, number 11. So number 11, people have 11 tend to really is a seeker. You're in your spiritual journey. You seek the ultimate meaning of life. You understand that we are all one ultimately, and you are that spiritual teacher who need to first really find that oneness, find that God inside yourself, whatever you call it, universe, higher self, whatever spirituality means to you, but you are seeking something beyond material, beyond mental, emotional, something more in life, a deeper wisdom. So that 11 tend to be like a wisdom teacher, spiritual teacher, and they really have the big vision to change the world and to make this world a better place. And they also tend to have that vision to change people, not to manipulate people, but to really help people to become the better person, really to let people to understand the truth, the wisdom, so that they can change and lead a better life. And 11 has a very special energy, which is that 11 is the old energy. So if you can truly activate 11, then you can activate all the energy from 1 to 10. And the lesson for 11 is that sometimes 11 is too higher up and not grounded enough. And they cannot accept that the world is not perfect yet. And if 11 can collaborate with 8, then that they can create something really nice and meaningful. I guess we have some questions. Oh, some comments. So we have 5 and 9 in our group. Thanks for your sharing. Okay, so then that's the 11 number. Any questions? If not, then we can go to look at some examples. So first I can use mine as an example. So we can look at the middle, the soul number, the lesson number, and the foundation. So for me, my soul is 5, and same as my past life gifts. So for me, that I really like travel, and I like to connect with people, and also that teaching is something that I always feel that I would like to share the things I know with people. And so that's kind of like my soul number here. And I also love food, love the 5 senses things. And my lesson number is 10. I would say that I actually spend quite a lot of time in my lesson number. So 10, as I shared before, that when it's at the lesson, they probably tend to feel not good enough and need to put in more effort. Like that imposter syndrome is quite popular for people with 10. And it's also related with, if we see I have 6 under 10. So sometimes this gives us a bit of hints where this lesson is coming from, and also give us clue how to heal it. So 6, as I shared before, that is related with home. So that my sense of not enough is very much coming from my mom. I grew up, the way my mom motivated me is always that, oh, you are not as smart as your classmates or your friends, so that you need to put in more effort. So I have that sense of feeling not good enough and the need to put in more efforts. And that especially these 3 numbers, you see a lot in the first 18 years. And probably also for me at early time, that leadership doesn't comes natural to me. And only when I grow older, then I begin to use the 11, which is spiritual leader, that I find my leadership style, which I use meaning, vision, purpose, and I really feel that our purpose is really to be of service, and that becomes my leadership style. And then my projection is 9. I shared a bit before that growing up, people always see me very smart, intelligent, best students, and later people see me like master things in my coaching and in the things I do. And but my core is actually 6. It's a healer. That's how I see myself. Is somebody who wants to help others and really to heal other people's. I once was doing strategy work, looking at all the strategy. I think I'm using my 4. And yeah, 5, teaching, networking, and all that. And 9 is the master, and really able to focus and learn things and master things. And when we activate all the numbers here, then we are going to reach our purpose number. And I actually really have a big aha moment when I met my teacher, Tyler Morgan, probably almost 10 years now. That at the time I newly acquired Balanced House, and I'm newly in the healing journey. I'm at early time of the 6, and just touched a bit of 11, the spiritual path. And when Tyler read my chart, remember our life path is our soul number here, 5, and our core number 6, and then our purpose number 11. So that I was running Balanced House. So 5, balance, right? And 6, health, healing, and eventually is bring people into a path of spirituality. So today for Balance, our slogan is heal, grow, and find bliss. Find your spirituality path. And actually Tyler see that in me 10 years ago when I do not see myself so clearly. But when he shared with me of this, then my path suddenly becomes more clear. And today I'm looking back, I can really see how my path evolved. So it's really a very powerful tool that can help you to navigate your path. So I know now it's already 8 o'clock, so I will stop here. If there's any questions, we can answer quickly. If not, then we will close here.
Judy, I have a question.
Okay, sure.
On so if you look at the numbers, is one supposed to look at the lesson for each number, or is it the middle number, like for yours is 10? That's where you focus on the lesson. And if that makes sense, because for all of these, you've given some qualities and then you said this is a lesson. So do you look at the lesson for just the middle one for 10, or do you look at, are you supposed to be looking at your lesson for 9 and 5 and 4 and etc.?
It's mainly look at for 10.
Okay.
So my lesson is mainly 10. And the others is probably more you're aware. Those has tendency to good side is master. And then if it's not strong, then you might kind of like getting too diversified. So you just be aware of your tendency. And then you try to strengthen the positive side to go toward the master side and not to slip into the negative tendency. But that's not your life lesson.
It's interesting to look at what my life lesson is and think, wow, really? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so get back to Monica.
Yeah, we have another question.
Oh, okay.
I think 2 questions in there.
Let me read. If someone shares the same date of birth as me, does that mean we have similar destiny? So again, this is very talking about energetic sense. So that if you really being very aligned with your energy, then you will feel there's similarity with their past. But not everybody are very aligned with their life path. And then as a result, people might have very different paths. So give you an example. I'm so surprised. Have you heard about My Valley?
Yeah.
So the owner and founder of My Valley Vision have exactly the same birth date as me. And if I look at the things we do, the passion we have, the vision we have, I just saw the same. And I think he overcome of his 10, the feeling of not good enough, probably at early age. I was probably figured that out at a bit later age. So I spent more time in my lesson, and I feel he spent less time in his lesson. But our path is the same. Work in the corporate and then find spirituality, become teacher, healer ourselves, and build a business around it. It's very fascinating. Second question, if my number are not compatible with my partner's number, then will the relationship fail? We will all have different numbers, right? So it's to look at the number and to see how we want to make it work. So the number is to give you the insight of at the deeper psyche who you are, and so that how you can understand each other better, how you can find ways to be together and feeling more fulfilled and happy and joyful. So there's nothing like doomed. Yes. But I probably need to look at the detailed numbers and to give more specific recommendations. And next question, ask. And by the way, I do help people that they show me 2 numbers, and then I give people advice. What is the good way for 2 people working together, be together? Can be husband, wife, or can be even business partner. Next question, any tips on steps we can take to be more aligned to our life path number? Good question. And this is a question I ask myself quite a lot. I look at my chart and to really look at, have I overcome my lesson, where I am? And you know your lesson number, sometimes you feel that I'm done, and then it come back in the next level, and then that you are learning it in the next level. But lesson is nothing bad. It's quite related with the purpose, because I feel like today I have a lot of clients who have imposter syndrome, who have exactly that feeling not enough, super high achievers, and then I help them to overcome all these because I've done that. So that to look at your lesson number not from a positive negative way, but from a positive way, how to use it to fuel your purpose is quite important as well. And then that to pay attention, especially to your soul call and purpose. So that is your life path, and how you can use all these energies to bounce back and forth, how you can be aligned with your life path so you will feel very fulfilled, how you can really activate all these energies. Like for me, I'm 6, right? So I have 2 6. So healing, I really love to do that. But also that when I'm working too hard, when my 10 drive me to put too much effort on things, then I get stressed. Then I need to, what I can do, I go to my 6, spend time with my home, spend time with nature, and really pay attention to my emotions, understand what my emotion is telling me. And then again, that give me skills that I'm very good at bring down emotions and understand what the emotion is whispered to me. And also 6 is also about dancing. Dancing is very good for 6, that you can move your body and you let go of your emotions. So dancing, if I dance, I hit 2. I did my exercise, I activate my 5, and I help my 6, right? So you need to do things which activate your core numbers. And then pay attention to your gift number, and use that, not only your this life gift, but also your past life gift. So that for me, I have 4 and 5. So that I used to do a lot of corporate work. And then when I let go of corporate, I want to be just in the flow and not using my analytic skills. But then I realized that I'm not using my skills, so that I don't need to be against it. I need to use the gift that I have. So that's a few tips. Okay, given the time, so probably we finish here and I give back to Monica.
Thank you, Judy, for such a powerful numerology session. We hope that this session is able to reveal deep psychology, core challenges, natural gifts, life foundation, and unique purpose path of each and everyone who attended tonight's session. So if you want and interested to go deeper in your personal life and executive journey, Judy also offers the following session as shown in the screen: numerology reading up to 30 to 60 minutes, and then at Balance Health. Feel free also to follow us on our social media accounts. We love to show and gain more knowledge as we go deeper in our lives. And as a way of our gratitude to everyone who attended this session, we are also giving 50% off on your first session with a Judy Shu. And for those that are not able to finish the entire session, we will also be sharing more of this and giving more details afterwards.
And yeah, thanks, Monica. I also have another session coming up, which is next Monday, that I will lead a Meet Your Future Self meditation. And if you're interested to meet your future self, then come join me. And not too much for December, but most of the months, I lead a mindfulness meditation session every Monday at 7:15. That can be either on-site at Balance or online through Zoom, where I integrate traditional mindfulness with healing meditation, with also certain ways to develop our intuition. So very fun and integrative. And for those who are 11s, you want to develop your intuition, your spirituality, and come join us. For those who has 4 need to do more mindfulness, or just in general, you would like to be more relaxed, have less stress, I would like to welcome you to join me. We charge 100, and all that 100 we will donate to plant trees to make our Mother Earth a better place. That is also 6, it's healing of the Mother Earth. It's very much deep in my heart. So the more people join me and the more trees we can plant. So please also help us to spread the word. So thank you all. And for today, we will say bye and see you in other situations. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye. Bye.
Goodbye, Judy. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Monica, for hosting.
Yes, Miss Judy. Bye.
How do you feel? Any feedback? You think it's good?
Yes, Miss Judy. I actually want to have a numerology session with you.
Hi.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's very good.
I will read for you.
Yes.
Staff complimentary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good, Miss Judy. I think we have good set of questions and they finish until the end of the event. And there's another one person who joined like 10 minutes before we end.
Oh, okay.
So she sent us a message asking if we can have a recording of the session.
Uh-huh.
Able to start it off.
Okay. I need to give some thoughts whether I want to share the recording or not. But I think we can share with the people. Maybe we put a password and we share with people who has a password.
Yes.
For now, because
Yes.
I also need to get my teacher Tyler's agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very good session, Ms. Judy.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing your wisdom with all of us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Vanessa,
you.
do you have any suggestions?
Well, I think it's really great. This is one of the best like session like Zoom session I have ever had. Yeah, but I really want to watch the recording because I'm in and out due to work. Yeah, it's just like everything is very great. It's just I think around 15 minutes before the end there is the connection issue, so you freeze for a little bit time. Yeah.
Yes. And then Miss Judy, if I may add also, like once we do the numerology, like you the whiteboard part, I think some people are not able to really follow that, especially I don't know if it's okay if we can have more words like an instruction on how to get this, the in words like in visual, so that they can follow along.
I also have speaking of that, I also think of so after we move on to the another slide which do not have all the indication of which one is what number, and then when we start to talk like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then like for me I did not mark down which square, like which column is for which number. So I'm like, so what is this for? So that part if we can like also have the indication in later part will be great.
Yeah, great suggestions. So maybe we can put a small image somewhere on the slides. And I need to find a kind of writing pad so that I can do that.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you.
I think if you need like a board for drawing board, I think Dr. Michelle have one idol, like she because she's learning drawing, and they already gave her a complimentary one, like including in her package, and then later on she bought another one. So the first one I think it's just, yeah, maybe you can chat with her.
Okay, yeah, good information source. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.